If you are interested in a career in wildlife, you got to make sure that you stay tuned and listen to this episode, because it is one of the best ones that I have ever done. Scott Putnam. He is a regional fisheries biologist. He is just so excited about his career. He's so into it. He's been going at it now for about 3 decades. And he is also really passionate about helping people who are interested in going into this career as well.
We take mentoring very seriously. If someone calls me up, asks me for assistance, I'm always there.
So do you have like one last thing we didn't cover that you'd like to offer to our podcast audience, and then we can open up to student questions afterward?
Get out there and volunteer. Start making contact with those agencies or folks involved in it. Get to know the fish and game folks. Get to know me. We have volunteer opportunities. We'll get you out there and getting you in the field for a hit.
In the wake of the Fancy Scientist podcast, Matt contacted me about volunteer opportunities with the fisheries crews I manage. He wanted to learn more about what we do.
Hi, Scott. I just finished listening to Dr. Stephanie's podcast featuring you, and I was wondering if you are accepting volunteers for counting fish or any other field work. Sleeping outside, etc. is my dream. I think I would be a great addition to your team. I am a hard worker, and I am tremendously passionate about conservation. Thank you for your time and consideration. Best wishes, Matthew.
I was excited. This was an opportunity to share my passion for fisheries work. Mentoring has always been very important to me. Our plan was for Matt to work with the 5-person wild salmon and steelhead trout snorkel survey crew during 2 trips, or hitches as they are known, into central Idaho's backcountry. This included the upper Selway River, located in the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, and the Snake River, Hell's Canyon Reach. Specifically, the plan involved Matt helping to collect scientific data while experiencing our long-established, sometimes mundane, routine. Between trips, he would stay at a camp trailer with other crew members in Myrtle, Idaho. At the time of our conversation, we had no clue about the magnitude of the unique challenges we would face and just how far from mundane his adventures would be. July is the peak of the summer vacation season. Airlines were already feeling the pressure when a cybersecurity update took down some of their computers. This caused a ripple effect throughout airports across the country. 5 days of chaos resulted in more than 5,000 flight cancellations, many hours of waiting in long ticket lines, and stranded passengers sleeping at airports. Matt was caught in this turmoil. His scheduled 9-hour journey from Virginia to Lewiston ended up taking 30 hours and included unplanned nights in Denver, rerouting through Spokane, Washington, and a 105-mile bus ride for the final leg. With only hours before the crew would leave town, Matt arrived in Lewiston. Gear was packed, camp groceries were purchased, and they were on their way to the first survey transect of the summer's 5th hitch, 300 miles away in the Selway Bitterroot Mountains. This journey takes them from Idaho's western border to beyond the eastern limit, south along western Montana's Bitterroot Mountain Range, and then a few miles back into east central Idaho to the upper Selway River Basin. Snorkel survey crews collect data about wild salmon and steelhead trout populations that is not possible with other sampling methods. These surveys have been conducted across central Idaho since the 1980s. They traditionally occur during June through August each year. The crews usually include active or aspiring college students with an interest in natural resources, such as Matt. Ultimately, their work provides supporting data so fisheries and other resource managers can make informed decisions to benefit wild salmon and steelhead trout. For more about this crew's work before Matt's arrival, check out these videos. By mid-afternoon on the second day of surveys, the crew had completed several sites with no drama. Then, without warning, winds equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane, 96 to 110 miles per hour, erupted as the crew stood in an open area while pine trees taller than 100 feet snapped like toothpicks and crashed on the hillsides around them. A derecho, originated in northeast Oregon, traveled across central Idaho and was now bearing down on the Idaho-Montana border. Unlike a small, localized downdraft in a thunderstorm, known as a microburst, a derecho, by definition, is caused by a complex of thunderstorms that produce long-lasting extreme winds and travels more than 240 miles. Derechos are far more rare than microbursts. Only a few have been documented in western states. According to the National Weather Service, this may be the first derecho documented in western Montana. Several fallen trees blocked road access across the region, including the upper Selway. Damaged trees would continue to fall without warning for days and weeks after this event. Consequently, the crew canceled the remaining surveys and evacuated the area ahead of schedule. Meanwhile, back at the crew's camper, two fast-moving, lightning-caused wildfires converged and completely surrounded the little community of Myrtle. Several homes, outbuildings, and a commercial facility were devoured in the 45-square-mile Gwen fire. Fortunately, no lives were lost. The wind-blown flames eventually jumped the road and burned up boats and other equipment in a storage compound. These assets are used on the fish trapping project I also manage. Fortunately, the camp trailer was removed before it sustained damage. With the winds calmed and the fire suppressed, the crew had a few days off for a break between snorkel survey trips. This gave Matt an opportunity to help move a 100-foot-long juvenile salmon and steelhead trout trap to the Port of Wilma in Washington for later dry docking. He also had time to check some boxes on his wildlife viewing list during the days off work. Sometimes going to work is as much fun as doing the work. The Hells Canyon surveys were an opportunity for the crew to further unwind from the ravages of the wind and the fire. Hells Canyon of the Snake River is North America's deepest gorge at 7,993 feet above sea level. It is deeper than the Grand Canyon in Arizona. 4 streams are surveyed in this reach. Granite, the uppermost creek, is 72 miles from the Heller Bar boat ramp. The crews access the sites by jet boat. There is a saying, the early bird gets the worm. For this crew, the early risers have the opportunity to fish for white sturgeon that may be 6, 7, 8, or more feet in length and hundreds of pounds in weight before they eat breakfast in the canyon. Catching one is often the highlight of their field season. For more about this epic white sturgeon fight, check out this video. Of course, Matt's final day working with us would not be complete without at least one more unique challenge. The boat for this trip has 2 engines. One of them had fuel system issues as the sun set and caused a slight delay getting back to the boat ramp on the moonless night. The captain, with the aid of night vision goggles, safely navigated the whitewater and delivered us to the ramp at 10:18 p.m. without further issues. Reflecting on Matt's visit, one might look at the multitude of unique challenges that seemed to follow him and wonder, was there a link? All I know is that we faced and survived each challenge without much discomfort. We surveyed almost all of our work assignments. We also had fun doing so. In addition, Matt made significant contributions to the accomplishments. He learned and experienced a lot about wild salmon and steelhead trout work. He made new friends, and the crew made a new friend. He also provided the opportunity to share my passion for fisheries work. The optimist in me believes Matt was the reason for each of the positive outcomes in spite of the unique challenges. We all said our goodbyes, and Matt boarded a flight to spend time with his family at the Grand Canyon before he returned to Virginia for college. We exchanged a few messages about the flights to Arizona being uneventful. A few days later, I received a message from him as he boarded the plane back to Virginia. Matt messaged me again soon afterwards to say he was finally home after one more unplanned night in a hotel.
Want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just leave it all behind. River's gonna cry when you're gone.